Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good Wednesday. It's April 27th. We're gonna look at Beyond Meat. Had some news, some option plays I did with it, legging in, legging out, calendar spreads, the way you can kind of take advantage of this price action. GameStop, nice little bounce here, and of course the SPY. Look at that, look at those hourly candles on Beyond Meat. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at HappyMoneyYT, as well as our Discord server. Links for those things are in the description. There's my new post squeeze boat. Shout out Donero. Yeah, it looks like we had this RSI divergence happening on the SPY as well as GME. GME's just been following SPY more or less. But you see it here with the low RSI here and the higher low basically here, and then price actions down here, lower low here. So this is trending down, this is trending up. That's the divergence. So I played it long this morning on SPY. I was actually going to just do credit spreads this morning, just flip them, kind of scalp them, day trade them. And I was late to the open. I jumped in some put credit spreads here, some bullish ones. I traded awful. But this isn't easy to trade. I mean, this is this is volatility, and it wasn't a clear trend. So I opened them up here, came down here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing is just gonna keep dumping. Basically, my triggers to get out of it was red under the 9 and bearish MACD. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna close it. So cut losses, which was probably fine. It could have kept going, and then it flipped back the other way, and my play actually would have worked out great for today. Actually, up until close here, which is kind of interesting. We're dumping so much into close. At any rate, it didn't quite play that right. But I got some longer, well, I got ones for Friday instead of just dailies. Some Friday put credit spreads on SPY. Because we flipped bullish on the hourly in the longer time frame. Bullish MACD here, we've got green over our 9. It is showing weakness into the close, but I don't think that matters. I think we'll still rally tomorrow and probably into the end of the week, I'd imagine. A lot still riding, of course, on Facebook earnings. That's another thing we're going to happen today, basically. Their earnings were leaked, supposedly. The earnings were leaked, but it might have been, there might have been their last quarter earnings. So that's where this crazy candle came in. I actually didn't really check. I'm not sure, but that really upset the market when that came in, and there was bad guidance, basically what was leaked, and a loss or missed estimates. But I'm not certain if it was last quarter's or if it's the actual real earnings leaked. So option premiums got all messed up because of that. SPY did a huge dance right here because of that. And so if it was the real earnings, then potentially this is pricing that in already, and so we'll rally tomorrow. I'm not sure. It really just threw a curveball everywhere. But TA shows it's momentum's going up, and we have that divergence at least for a little while. A little bounce here on SPY, a little relief rally, I think, is in order, and I think GME's gonna go with it, as we saw some today. Was up a little bit, kind of pre-market, and then sold off. I did cover calls that I actually got out of in time on GME today. Our divergence on GME is here, right here and here. Kind of this lower wick with this higher wick, and then this raising RSI, as well as kind of up here even too, kind of continuing. The price action staying kind of flat, but the RSI is building up. And then of course our MACD flip bullish, and we have green over the 9. So this all looks bullish to me for the short term. As I was saying in yesterday's video, I won't go back and play it, but I said I expect a bounce probably before we continue down, and I figured 135 to 140 in that area. We'll see. It might finish the bounce by Friday. It might take till next week. I'm not sure, but I have bullish plays on that as well. I could be wrong though. This could just be setting up more of a bear flag, but I think it probably will bounce. Probably because this whole move down here, I think it'll probably just retake this big move here. So that's where I get the 135 from, as well as that was a support back here, which becomes a resistance, or it could be said 140, which was the old resistance up here, as well as the kind of the support back here. So it's another resistance and support line. So something like that. And then we'll see if it'll probably come back down and retest And if it makes a higher low, then our trend is we've maybe found the low. If it retests all the way, we'll just have to see if it breaks through. If it breaks through, we're going to keep going down. Next price target, because I was saying 125 to 120 could be a support. Today we filled that gap, that 125 something gap, whatever it was, it's filled now. And we still don't know if the momentum has turned yet. Today could have been the low, but the momentum hasn't fully shifted yet. So if it does break through this low next week or the week after, not sure where we could go. Maybe 115, this area. I know Elliott Waves guys are calling like 97 or something. Maybe 104. Would be good to see a higher low than the 77 or even the 87 over here. So hard to know, because this is where we had a lot of buying pressure, insider buying, Ryan Cohen buying. So hard to know if it'll really be able to drop that low into the double digits. Of course, if there's a proper market crash, we've had somewhat of a correction here and then kind of like here, but nothing crazy yet. GME's held up pretty well, really considering. But if there's a, SPY comes down to 394, let's say by Friday, GME could move down pretty quick. But I think SPY will probably bounce and then say maybe next week or so, see how high the bounce is. And then if it really crashes quick, we get 3-4 big days in a row, big daily candles, fill these gaps down here, then we'll see. But that's my prediction. Bounce in the short term, and then probably more down and trying to find a floor. So the way I'm playing it, so I did scalping covered calls. I do actually have this cash secured put on GME for 127, I think, in this account. Problem with Webull, actually, I don't think you can roll over with them yet. They haven't implemented it, so that's kind of a bummer. So I'll have to buy to close it and then open up another one. But the problem with that is if I don't have enough money to buy to close it, if I'm negative on it, so then I'll have to bring capital in, or I could just let it get assigned and then sell the shares and then do another cash secured put with a further lower strike, because that's what I'd be doing, is be rolling it down. So this premium on this one, I rolled this from last week. It looks like it's 254, or no, it's negative 254 right now. I don't know what I received on this one. Oh, 150 maybe. Yeah, 150 is the credit I received on that cash secured put. And then on this one, I still haven't gotten into covered calls. I tried to just put a high strike at 20 delta and it didn't fill. I was just a little bit late on it, I guess. Same with my Fidelity. But now GameStop's bullish on the hourly, so I'm not too concerned. I might try and get filled tomorrow. We'll see if we break this 132. I feel like we probably will. So still fine to have covered calls, just nice to keep them out of the money by expiration, basically. Here are my plays from today. Oh, Beyond Meat, there was a rumor that McDonald's was going to make it permanent, their Beyond Meat burgers on their menu. Beyond Meat, it has historically been a big mover. They have a high short interest. This thing has made big moves in the past during COVID and stuff. But that was, I guess, it was just misconstrued data and not necessarily true. McDonald's said that they have not changed they haven't changed their relationship with Beyond Meat. So Beyond Meat still sold at McDonald's, but I guess it's still in some sort of pilot program because I guess it's not permanent. At any rate, look at this, Beyond Meat's ripping again. So we caught it early. I got calls here. I kind of just sniped the chain, was looking up and down different dates and different strikes, trying to find ones that hadn't been priced in yet, because this thing started moving crazy. A few $1,000% here or there was no big deal. And got it in here, came up here, it halted. They were up like 300%. And then when it unhalted up here, I actually shorted some calls. So I'll show you guys how I did that. So the calls actually got long. This thing's running again. So there's a high short interest. This could set up some sort of short squeeze if there's any sort of truth to what was going on. So the long calls I bought down here were for June. Sometimes you have to go out to some further dates to like snipe some, because the shorter dated ones, they'll get the option, or they'll get the action the soonest on quick news stuff. It's halted again. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Well, that would be sick. I've got a lot of exposure for a squeeze too. So I didn't find any until June, basically, where the options chain on it was, yeah, it's halted. There's the H. So I just hit all the strikes. I could see all of them, and then just went through, had all of them selected, and we're just going through and finding them. So now it's halted, so they're all 0. But basically, I'd find ones where the ask, so the ask would be up in like the hundreds, and then one would have like an ask at like 30, and all the ones around it were 100. So that's why I picked up, that's where I'd try and snipe it. And I'd basically just come in at the ask. And so I got some really good deals on some. So once I had that, and those were up a significant amount, basically what I did, I'll show you. So I got the Junes, I got June 3rd, I got these 110 calls. So I don't remember exactly what I got for them, but I can show you. I got these, so now I have a long position at 110 for 51 days. I have a ton of time because Beyond Meat's earnings actually coming up too, I think, in a few days, so I have earnings exposure. Got these, and then Beyond kept ripping, so these were up maybe 100% or something. And then I was able to, basically I can short a call at a higher strike than 110 because I have the right to the shares at 110, so I can short calls up here just like a covered call. But I don't have to wait till this strike or this date. I can do it at a shorter date, so it's a calendar spread. So I shorted calls at a shorter date, and since there was so much volatility because the stock was going crazy, as it still is, I guess, the shorter dated calls had so much premium baked into them that I was able to cover my costs. So I'll kind of break down this one for you. So I got the 110s for June. Let's see. June. Okay, those are the monthlies. And then I got June 3rd, 70 calls. These are the ones I got really the better deal on. I got 70 calls for June 3rd. I paid 34 cents for it. This thing ripped up, and it was, I think it was worth, I don't know. I don't remember how much. But you can see, once we kept going up a little bit, I legged into it with the 75. So it's a higher strike, shorted the higher striked calls, and those were so expensive, expensive enough that actually I covered my bases. And I actually covered it exactly. I didn't mean for that to happen, but this cost me $102 to get into, and then I shorted these 3 for $102. So basically, these only have 2 days of time left, though. So if Beyond Meat's past 75, this just turns into a debit spread, and this is a debit spread right now. It's basically calendar spread, which is fine with me. So max gain on that's 3,400. Basically, now that it's a debit spread. But I'm not expecting Beyond Meat to be past 75, so I'll be able to close these out, and this play's now free, and then I'll have these June 3rd 70 calls for free. And then I did the same thing with this June monthly calls. These aren't, I didn't fully cover the cost of these. I got 5 of these 110 calls. They're now down. Well, it's halted, but they are down a little bit. I paid 35 cents for them, and then I shorted the 115 calls further out of the money for 22 cents. So not exactly the same coverage, but close. I paid 175 for these, collected 110 for these. And I did it on the 23 day to expiration because there wasn't, there's not a higher strike than 110 until May. That's why I did May, but there's still, the amount of time is still like a month or so between these. So still a calendar spread. Basically, yeah, just legged into it, and then I'll leg back out if it comes down. So it's $9,000 max profit, but both these plays are basically free. That's kind of how I traded the Beyond, and how I'd like to trade GME if it moves next time. Excuse me, it was big. So Beyond Meat's halted again, going up. Not sure what's going on. Here's my SPY. Bullish play, put credit spread. SPY is coming down now, so kind of sucks. This is kind of an aggressive one. 423, 424, put credit spread. Yeah, it's kind of a bigger play than I normally do. Like I said, I got shaken out of that first one, which would have been better than this one. This strike's more aggressive. Oh well. Wow. Close out of my yang, it came down. It ended up just being a little bit of profit. It's all right, I'll get back into it. It had the RSI divergence on the hourly. I should have closed. I'm used to GME and SPY where they just ignore that oftentimes. Here's a SPY play I got in and out of that I got shaken. Shorted some covered calls, made 400 or 500 shorting calls on GME and then buying them back. once we flattened out. That's basically it. Still dead birds. MDVL had a big move up. I've got 23 days on that one. Beyond meat. It's crazy, man. This thing moves crazy. So yeah, GME I shorted calls here because my indicator, red into the 9, bearish MACD, and then I actually closed it out here. I think this is a reversal type pattern. Just I couldn't quite remember, but then I also saw that this is an engulfing candle to this one. I'm like, I'll just close it. I wasn't sure, but I was like, I had good profits. I just left it or closed it. So that was actually a good close there. And yeah. So SPY came down a little bit, but those are the plays. Yeah, a lot of action today. Facebook, then beyond. I don't know what news was real or not. That's what I got for you guys. We'll see you on Discord. I did post today, earlier in the day, about GME. I was just showing that divergence, not to get excited, but this was this morning. I'm like, we are setting up a hourly divergence. So this rally, that's why I got the credit spread. And then in general, I posted the beyond stuff. So sometimes it helps be on there and paying attention. See you guys. Peace out.